Hi everyone. I'm having a bad hair day. Excuse my hair. Anyway, I wanted to do a bit more in depth about the Diamantina crystals, which cut bad vibes. So they are called the laser crystals. They can laser away negative cords that we hold. So first off, a cord is basically anything that has happened to you in your life, possibly past life as well, which holds you back. Okay, so it's almost like, you know, those little reins you get for the toddlers, and you drag them back and things like that. So it's that sort of thing. So for example, so say there was some sort of bullying at school, or maybe a teacher said a comment, or a parent or an adult who said a comment to you when you were younger, and it sticks to you. So for example, I was told I was no good at maths by my maths teacher, and that stuck with me, and it took me a long time to actually say, no, I'm going to cut that, because otherwise I'm going to pass it on to my children. When they ask me for help with their maths, I'd be like, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Whereas actually I can do maths, I'm quite good at maths. So it takes a long time, but so to cut these cords is sometimes quite important. One of the most common forms of cords and attachment is actually relationships, tough relationships, past relationships, even relationships you're in now. They can really cause pain and angst, especially difficult breakups or difficult relationships that you're trying to come to terms with. Okay, so cutting cords is a really, really good little thing to do as often as you can. Some people say you can just sort of cleanse your whole thing. So if you've got thousands of cords, you can just sit there and do the whole shebang. I personally like to focus on one cord at a time, one issue at a time, and you know, it's not a quick fix. It will have to be done again and again and again. So I do have these, which I have been selling. You don't need these, by the way. Can I just reiterate, you don't need these. These are Diamantina. Okay, these are Diamantina quartz. Sorry, they make me go lovey-dovey. And these are the cord cutting crystals. This is what you would use for cord cutting. Okay, if you were a practitioner, you can do it yourself, obviously. Okay, but you don't need these. Okay, so everything I do is just sort of saying you don't need these. Okay, so don't panic. All right, but these are, as you can see, I mean, this one's £14, okay, so they're not expensive. So if you did want to get one, you can do. That's quite a big one. This one here is a little one. Okay, now I always go for ones with points, so that you can actually physically feel that this is cutting the cord. Okay, so if you imagine a cord, you can feel you're cutting it away. Okay, so that's basically what these beautiful little crystals do, as well as make you feel good about yourself. Okay. And that's that one. And this one's a big chunk. This one is a big chunk, but only £18. Okay, so you know, they're not especially expensive. The big ones that you get are, but I never go that too big, because you know, you don't need big crystals. They're beautiful and they're helpful and they're very powerful, but you don't need them. Okay. So first of all, what you want to do is you want to focus on an issue, a memory, or a cord. Okay, so what I tend to do is, so if I imagine when I was younger, kids called me fat. Okay, fair enough. I was quite skinny, actually, believe it or not. And what I do is I actually go, take some deep breaths. Okay, so get into a meditative state. So you breathe in and you breathe out, and just get into that really calm state, and then try and focus on that time. So I'm walking into the changing rooms at school. We've just done PE, and I know that I'm going to have to get changed in front of other people now, and I know there's some people there who are a bit mean to me. So I'm going back to that anxiety and that feeling, and then when I'm going to that anxiety, what I try and do is I try and feel that anxiety, and then I sort of imagine that anxiety going from my stomach and my chest into my head, and then I imagine that I'm now producing a cord. Okay, so this cord can be any colour you like. I tend to do mine as grey, because it's just a colour that doesn't really mean too much to me. Okay, so it hasn't got any power. Some people like red because it's very vibrant and things like that. So imagine this cord's there, and I'm walking, and I know that feeling is making me feel down. I'm starting to feel that actually the comments they said are holding me back. They're knocking my confidence. Okay, so now I'm holding this cord, as you can see. Okay, now you don't have to use a crystal, all right? So you hold this cord, and then with the crystal you just imagine a light beam cutting the cord, and it's gone. And with it, all the negative feelings and all the bad energy and everything like that. Okay, now if you don't have a Diamantina crystal, you don't need to use it. Okay, you can use any crystal you like, or if when you're holding the cord, just imagine scissors and cut the cord away. Okay, now the cord will evaporate, okay, and disappear. Okay, and then what you feel is a lightness on your chest, and you think, oh, yeah, I can move forwards. Okay, so it's a really, really, really simple thing. Okay, so please try and do this if there are some cords that hold you back. I tend to do it for difficult things, and sometimes I do need to really sit for a while, allow those feelings to come to the surface so that I can cut them away. Okay, but the important thing is really just knowing that feeling that you get in your gut, the anxiety in your chest, is about bringing that bubble to the surface, bringing it up to your head and turning it into a cord, and then cutting that cord and letting it evaporate. Okay, so that's one simple little trick to do if you want to cut the cord. Okay, I used to do cutting cord sessions before COVID, and they are fantastic, but they are really emotional. Okay, now if you have something that keeps cropping up, okay, so sometimes it's just about recognizing issues that keep cropping up. All right, so if you have an issue that keeps cropping up, sometimes you do have to do this once a day or a couple of times a week, that sort of thing. All right, and it doesn't matter how many times you need to do it, as long as you get that elevation and that good feeling behind you. Can you see my anxiety is now high because my cat's just climbed onto my crystal shelf. This is why you never do work with animals. Yes, anyway, let's see if this is going to turn into a nightmare. You're right there, Cookie. Okay, so every time I start doing work with crystals, she just appears from somewhere. Anyway, so that's how you cut cords. Okay, so you might have to do it repetitively, you might have to do it a few times every now and again. Okay, and again, you don't need the Diamantina quartz, but I must say they do help, because they absorb the negative energy. Okay, so they not only do they cut the negative energy, they also absorb the negative energy, and they're beautiful, and they're full of rainbows, they're full of light, they're full of joy. Okay, so you know, if you do want one, get one. Just make sure that all your crystals that you ever buy are ethically sourced and things like that. Okay, but yes, so I just wanted to do a little video on how to cut some cords, deep cords. So we're talking traumatic events, PTSD, that sort of thing. You do need to work alongside the mental health practitioners and things like that. Okay, but it is also good to be able to take control so that you can do it yourself. All right, so if there are deep wounds, deep painful memories, or deep traumas, or some form of PTSD, that sort of thing, now it's quite important to allow those feelings to come up, but also write them down. If they get a little bit too much to bear, let your practitioner know, okay, and ask them for guidance about this, okay, because you don't want to always bring things up, okay, if you're not ready, all right. But certainly if you want to cut cords with anything deeper, you may just have to sit a little bit, and sometimes I would say it might be good to have somebody with you to talk through, okay, so that you're not left with any resonating difficulties afterwards, all right. For horrific trauma and things like that, you do have to work alongside people, okay, and have that as well. But the crystal meditation will certainly help, and certainly help alleviate any stresses, okay. When our traumas and things are instant, so we have a panic attack or something like that, so for example, I get very anxious in shops. There is a root cause to this. There is an anxiety to this, and I know where that root cause comes from. So it is a cord. Sometimes when I'm going into shops and I get anxious, okay, especially now, I mean, it's just heightened, isn't it, because of the COVID and everything. I tend to do a very, very quick couple of deep breaths, and then I can link back to why I'm feeling anxious in the shop, and I can do it initially. So if you ever see me in Tesco's, Asda, Aldi, wherever, okay, any shop, and you suddenly see me go like that, it just means I'm stressing and I'm just cutting a cord away. And it does help me. And it might be a bit of a twitch, it might be a bit of a weird thing to do, but it helps me, okay? And it helps me just balance myself, focus on what's going on, realize that there is no danger, and assure myself that I can move forwards, okay? So, try and get into the habit of being able to bring these cords to the surface and cut them away, so that you can balance down, okay, so you can get into the habit of being able to be strong, and most importantly, be in control of your anxieties, be in control of your worries, be in control of those things that are holding you back, all right. Okay, if you have any questions or anything you'd like to know about cord cutting, etc., just drop me a message. All right, and yes, my crystals are available to buy if you did want to buy any, okay, but you don't need to. Okay, my lovelies, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.